I still have not recovered from losing my stuff when you kicked the longest field goal in CFL history.
It's definitely it's big, right? It was just heartbreaking, right? The way we lost, right? And just I didn't come through at the end with the kickoff as I would have liked, right? So it's kind of dampers, as I think that's the word, right? Or a bit on the field goal, right? So definitely, I think maybe later on, as time goes by, I'll be able to embrace it, exactly what just happened. Kind of like last year, right? We hit the 60, and then I think Rene comes back and kicks a game winner against us. I'm like, gosh. Yeah, Rene is just, I think I've experienced 4 game winners in life against him since 15, 16. So, but, props to Ian, Jameson, obviously the line, right? But, Ian and James, they made it really easy on me, right? As easy as it can be, right? So, but yeah.
Is there any part of the field goal that leads to the kickoff being overheated, let's say?
No, I mean, I went with the mindset I'm just going to tap it, right? And if you look at my follow through, I barely even hurdle through, but I just connected it so pure, just like I did with the field goal as well, right? So, but the intention was to, tap it, get it to 10, and yeah, just it took off. So, but that's on me.
The moment you kicked the 63-yarder, though, it felt like it could have been the game winner. So I'm wondering what that moment felt like.
Well, it felt good, but then in the span of like 10 seconds, refs are yelling kickoff and there's no commercial and we're going straight, right? So trying to find the tee, right? And then, let Mike know where we want to kick it, right? So it's just like, okay, we're on it here and then boom, we got to get back to Zen, right? And like I said, the mindset was just to tap it. But, at the end of the day, if it leaves my foot, just like I'm getting credit for this field goal, I got to do better on the kickoff, put our team in a better position.
Take us through the art of kicking a 60-yard field goal. You've done it 3 times now, so.
Well, I got to credit my mother-in-law because she's here now taking care of my boy. You see him over there, and I ate about 25 flour tortillas last week, so that's where probably all the extra weight came from because I normally weigh at 203 and I was weighing at 207 in pregame. So credit to her for making all those bean tortillas, right? So I wake up and there's 5, 6 in the morning. There's fresh homemade tortillas, and I come back home from practice and I pound another 5 or 6. So, but no, it's just obviously just having the operation, making it smooth on me, right? And in pregame we attempted a 61 and I missed it, but I think could have been good from 64, right? So, but so if it would have been 64, I always lie to myself, or I tell myself you got to add another 5 because of the adrenaline in the game, right? So I think. So that's where I kind of, psych the mind out a bit. But, Jams just told me just hit your normal ball. Don't hit it anything out of the norm, right? So it just went through my usual approach where I didn't kick anything any harder than usual, right? So credit to Jams, he's like a caddy, right? He's like just aim right center, play your usual ball, your draw, and, don't hit anything harder than it should be.
What's happened with kicking? Because you hit a 63-yarder, the longest ever, and on the same day, a guy in the NFL hits a 70-yarder in the longest preseason kick they've ever had. What's been happening with kicking the last decade?
I think it's just kids, and I say kids because I'm training kids right now. They're starting a lot younger. They're starting to learn the technique a lot younger. I'm training kids from like 10, 11, 12 years old compared to when I was starting. You guys were learning when they got to high school. So they're developing the technique before they develop their strength. So they're depending on the technique and not the strength. And then when the strength comes along, now you combine both of those, and you're gonna have record shatter. And that's why now you have, bless you. Now that's why you have kids and high school kids, kicking off the ground, third year in high school in the States, because if they want to go D1, they know if I'm not kicking off the ground by junior year, more than likely you're not going to get recruited, right? So just the fact that they're starting the technique a lot sooner. That's the change that's happening, right? Because there's a couple of kids that I train, and I'm like, man, they're kicking as far as me, and they're barely 17, 18 years old. But because they've been training since they were 11 or 12, so that's a big difference I see.
So how much of it is strength? How much technique? Is it 50-50, or is it one more important than the other?
I think they're both a key, right? But I think the technique is what gets you consistency, right? So if you can kick an extra point the same way, if you can kick a 55. 63, the way you kick an extra point. If you look at the extra points, almost everybody hits the 60 yards. Like you, and especially it's easy here in CFL because you have the 20-yard end zone. See how far it goes back, so it's an easy measurement there too, right? So if you can get it to where mentally, where you're like, you know what, these long kicks, that's what Jams told me. Just kick it like it's an extra point. Kick normal kick, it's gonna get there, right? So and that's where the mindset comes into play too.
If you attempt that kick in a game 10 times, 63-yarder, in those conditions, whatever, how many times are you making it out of 10, do you think?
My mind says just go 1 for 1, right? And so I mean, we missed it in pregame and we made it in the game, so we made the one that mattered, right? So and so yeah, it just it depends, right? But you know, the 53 we hit in the second quarter, that one was pretty. I thought that one was a little bit hard because it was against the wind, right? So, but credit to Jams again. I don't have to do a lot of thinking because he tells me right center, left center. I don't have to tell him to lean. He already knows depending the wind what type of ball I'm hitting. So Jams just makes it very, very easy for me.
What's the feeling for you having a coaching staff that says, this is the longest kick ever, and the game is on the line, and we feel like you should go out and do that? What's the feeling for you?
Well, just to have confidence from Osh was for me one of the greatest human beings. There's not just a coach, right? To be able to kick for him, it means a lot. And then for him to give me that confidence, it's just like, man, that's pretty cool, right? Like, it's like so. But at the time, I didn't know it was the longest, right? I'm just focused. I'm like, Jams, where'd I put the tape down? And so the fact that he gave us a go, I was just, all right, let's do it. Mine says just 1 for 1, right? So, and the main thing was just like go through the same process. So it's just the same cues.
But you know it's 63, right? You know that number when you're heading out there?
I knew it was 60. I thought it was 62. I thought it was 62. Well, I think because they said 62. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm like, Jams, where'd I put the tape down, this and that? And I'm like, let's just go. Because for me, it's just I need to get the tape down and then just start my process where I'm looking at, right? Right center, left center, etc.
So who told you that it was the record after all?
I think it was when we got off. I had a bunch of text messages, right? And because, like I said, we hit the field goal and then we had to focus right back into the kickoff, right? So I didn't.
Did you know right away?
Didn't know. So, yeah.